Welcome to another Kings of War battle report. Forces of Nature versus Salamanders. 2,300 points. The scenario was loot. So yes, I am going to a tournament next week, and I'm supposed to be playing Kingdoms of Men, but I just chose to play my Forces of Nature army that I've been enjoying over the last couple of weeks. So that army has a horde of 4 Shamblers with the Brew of Sharpness, a horde of Air Elementals with Measured Force, 2 hordes of Earth Elementals, one with the Brew of Strength and one with Han's Sanguinary Scripture, a Beast of Nature with the Wings and Swings upgrade, a Pegasus, a Greater Earth Elemental, a Hydra, a Druid with Bane Chant, Surge, and Heal 2, the Wiltfather, the Force Warden with the Loot, and then lastly a Unicorn with the Shroud of the Saint. So Craig is trying out a new Salamander list. This one he calls the Legion 2. Salamanders, obviously, 2,300 points. 2 troops of Gecko Warriors, 2 legions of Gecko Warriors. I think one of them has the Hammer of Measured Force, and that's really not good, if I'm using a lot of elementals. 2 hordes of Salamander Primes, 2 troops of Ancients, 2 hordes of Tyrants, 3 Lacheladons, and then 3 Heralds, one with the Loot, one with the Trickster's Wand, and one with the Shroud of the Saint. I was really shocked to find out that Forces of Nature, almost all their spellcasters actually have a level to them, unlike some of the armies. And so the Trickster's Wand actually does work against them. So I'm not really sure on how to deploy this Forces of Nature army, but I do know that if I want the Healing and the Inspire and the Surge all together, so that tends to clump me up in the middle. So out here on this end, I had the Unsurging flank, which had the Beast of Nature / Manicore, and then my Pegasus, which is also a Great Eagle, and lastly on this flank the Hydra. And like I said, there's a flank that it doesn't have anything that I need to worry about to surge. And then I believe it was a unit of Earth Elementals, then the 4 Shamblers, and then another Earth Elemental unit. Flanked on the other side of that was the Greater Earth Elemental, and the very far flank was the Air Elementals. And I guess I'm going to have to change the army a little bit. I mean, I really think that maybe that Air Elemental unit needs to be something that doesn't need to be surged. So I don't know. I've just been playing with the army, and I just got the models, and so I just decided to play with them. Somewhere in there is the Force Warden, and then the Druid and the Pegasus are behind the lines, just offering Inspire and support. So yeah, Craig's army is all red, and red rhymes with dead, and that's what it's all going to be in a few minutes. Ha ha, bad joke. But anyway, he started out with a Salamander Prime unit on this flank over here. The Lacheladons were all up behind the lines for flyer protection, and then the Legion of Geckos, and they had the Hammer of Measured Force. I was kind of hoping the one on the far end had it, because if they were fighting the Elementals, it wouldn't have mattered. So that was good. Then there was 2 troops of Geckos, and behind the 2 troops of Geckos were the Tyrants, both hordes, and those are a nasty unit. I had to figure out some way to separate them because I didn't want to fight them together. And then a unit of Salamander Primes, and finally the last legion of Gecko Warriors. The Ancients just kind of stayed behind the lines, and then he was just moving his 3 characters back and forth for support as needed. So I was actually thinking that might be a character that you could put on a mount so that you could move him back and forth a little quicker. It might be an idea for his army just to be able to do some more fast support. I did go ahead and scout the Shamblers and the Wiltfather and the Force Warden up, and that's just so I could try to do a jam to keep those Gecko Warriors from being the sacrificial thing, and then those choppy Tyrants charging into me. You can see my left deployment a little bit better over here with the Earth Elementals, the Greater Earth Elemental, and the Air Elementals. And that's the Druid that's standing there behind him. He doesn't have very much surge, so basically he's good for 1 inch, and that's going to be about it. So Salamanders did get the first turn and decided to move forward. They moved up on the hill and just snuggled up to that objective. He didn't want to pick it up yet. I don't know why you wouldn't want to, but he did. Excuse me, maybe he did pick it up. But the other ones, are still out in front. And those legions of geckos are the ones that are going to grab them, and they just have tons of nerve. And so takes a lot of killing to get them, and so that's really is a good unit to pick up tokens if you can get them and get back away. I actually moved the units that I scouted back because I didn't want to get into tyrant range right off. Everything else just kind of moved up and just formed a nice solid battle line in the middle. Look at all that tasty armor, 6 and 5. Excuse me. The air elementals just moved up and angled a little bit in case somebody left a flank open. Over on this other side, let's take a look. So I didn't move the Eagle / Pegasus because I had kind of a plan for him. To maybe use him as chaff to protect the flank of one of my units for one turn. He's so cheap, there's no reason not to, not to use him for that. The Manicore / Beast of Nature moved up, and he's not taking wounds. Those are just the turn marker dice on the edge of the table. But he moved up and angled, and trying to get to look down the line and see what he could catch a flank charge into. Something came up in this game is when a unit moves on top of a token, can you move on top of it and not pick it up? Well, that seems kind of counterintuitive. Like if you're on it, you've pretty much got it. So that was a question that we had. Never really thought about it that much. The Salamander Legion on the, Gecko Legion on the left here, kind of angled, has the tokens kind of back. It just grabbed the token this turn. The Salamander Primes moved up and formed a nice U battle line there. Tyrants are in the middle, looking menacing. All the Ancients are just there for support. And then all 3 Lacheladons started moving toward the right where my flyers were because that was their primary role, was flyer defense. So right now everything's kind of jammed up in the middle, and somebody's going to have to break this tie. So in my turn 2, I went ahead and moved the Pegasus up 1 inch away from his Salamander Primes. And then I also moved the Hydra up to be in that difficult terrain. It's actually a height 1 difficult terrain. I know there's hardly any height 1 stuff anymore, but that's what we did with it. So since those guys had the token, or at least it's underneath them, I went ahead and charged, do a double charge with the Earth Elementals and the what do they call it? Force Shamblers into to that legion of geckos, and they have the hammer measure force, and I know they're going to do some work on my elementals, but there's nothing I can do about it. I just hoped by throwing 36 attacks into them that I'll kill them before they kill me. The Wiltfather, he went ahead and charged a unit of the geckos to get them out of the way, I hoped, and that way further protect the charge I had. You can see I've just kind of encased that charge, so I got a one-on-one battle with that legion. I don't want them to have a way to help them. Over here, I nimble moved the air elementals over the woods and turned to face the flank of the Gecko Legion. The big greater earth elemental, I'm pretty sure he could hold anything over there in a one-on-one fight except getting chopped up by tyrants. That was the one I was scared of. The other guys would take a while to kill him, and I still have, I don't know, you see the unicorn down there. She has heal 8. So if he starts getting in trouble, she can whisk over there real quick and throw a heal on him. And then the druid has heal 2. So basically I have heal 10. She get me 5 wounds a turn back, if everything's on average. The Earth Elementals went ahead and charged this unit of Gecko Warriors on the hill. I'm trying to clear that middle out. Like I said, the biggest thing I'm trying to do is isolate this end of the battlefield from the other end of the battlefield, because I'm not as strong on that left side of the battlefield as I am on the right. So yeah, the Wiltfather and the Forest Warden charged into that unit of geckos, did 11 wounds, which is higher than their point total, and rolled snake eyes. Right next to them, the greater earth elementals came slamming in and did 8 wounds. And yes, again, I rolled snake eyes, so I rolled back-to-back snake eyes. And this actually doesn't work out that bad in this kind, because now he's going to have a hard time getting the tyrants unjammed, because they're all kind of stuck behind all that garbage. I'm pretty sure the one that's on my left, the blue ones, are going to still be able to charge into my earth elementals. But I think I'm safe. My other 2 units are safe here, or 3 units are safe from it. So yeah, the Eagle / Pegasus got charged by the unit of Salamander Primes, and of course died horribly. The whole goal here, though, was to get that unit out from behind the house and maybe catch a a double charge, a flank with the Beast of Nature, and then the Hydra in the front. So that was my goal here. We'll have to see how that works out. But I mean, I did have a plan. I was, I looked at it and I'm like, you know what? I mean, I might be able to get away with that, if the Salamander Primes overrun, because I'm already in their flank. I mean, there's only a sliver there, like half an inch, but half an inch is enough in this stupid game. So I have an ability to take a flank charge into them if they blow it. So besides the Pegasus battle, everything else just countercharged over on the right-hand side. On the in the middle here, of course, that into that unit of of Earth Elementals are hanging out, so they are going to get charged. And of course, the Gecko Warriors with 8 or 9 wounds are going to charge back in. I don't really think that I could have prevented that. My thought was, though, is because where those tyrants were on the other side of the hill, they're height 3. Well, the hill's height 3, and the elementals are height 3. So if I could have killed those little guys and backed up, he couldn't have charged. Well, now I'm stuck up there getting charged. So I guess the good thing is he had to go up and over the hill. So I'm hoping that doesn't mean I think he has to start on the hill to get the +1 crushing. But pretty sure he bane chanted him anyway, and it would have been. It's going to be choptastic, I'm afraid, on my poor rocks. So yeah, the Salamanders have now formed their famous Crescent of Doom formation. One of them has, you can see they have the token there. The one in the middle still up, and the one over here, this other Gecko Warrior Legion has it. So I'm trying to fight. I'm really just trying to hold the one on the left. There's no way I'm going to get it. There's just too much stuff there. I've only got 2 units and a hero, and it looks like one of my units is about to get chopped up by those tyrants. The other picture I had of the end of his turn is so blurry, I just didn't want to post it, but I'm just going to tell you what happened. He charged into the greater Earth those, not the greater, but the regular Earth Elementals with the tyrants and got them up to 8 wounds. And that was not enough, obviously, to break them. I mean, they got an 18 leadership. I think he rolled really close to breaking them. Well, then my turn, I went ahead and charged the greater Earth Elemental in along with the Elementals and just ignored the unit of geckos there. My Forest Warden, they got charged by the Gecko Warriors there in the flank, and I think took 1 wound, which is kind of weird because you can't use one spell now, so he's going to have to fight back this turn. So what happened to my plan? Well, obviously the Salamander Primes did go ahead and kill the Pegasus and backed up. Well, what that did was leave the Legion open to a flank charge from the Beast of Nature, which I was quite happy to take. You can see that the Gecko Legion had put 10 wounds on my Earth Elementals there that are in the terrain, but and I was able to overrun an inch and grab the objective. Excuse me. I went ahead and charged the Wiltfather into the tyrants that moved up because his base is so narrow. He was able to easily get around into the fight where the tyrants couldn't fit in against him, as you can see by his other 2 units. So I was able to get in there. I did quite a few wounds. I think he healed most of them back because he only had heal 4. I think he rolled 4 wounds coming back. So I thought I better do that to them before they do it to me. That's a fact. So again, I had a plan here. I know it doesn't look like it, but my plan is now that those Forest Shamblers had that token was to get it the heck out of Dodge. And to that end, I didn't care about to sacrifice basically everything else on that flank as long as it could hold up. Bad thing was the Salamander Primes got a charge into the flank of the Earth Elementals, but they were hindered, so that maybe give me a little bit of a reprieve. And then the what are those guys called? They're not called Eternal Guard. They're called something Ancients or whatever. The Ancients, yeah, the Ancients flank charged the Beast of Nature. I couldn't do anything about it. But the point is I had the token, and they still had to kill stuff to get through to my Forest Shamblers, which are a very capable unit. So over here, the Salamander Primes took a hindered charge into the flank of the Greater Earth Elemental. Greater Earth Elementals are very, very tough. They are hard to beat down. They got a leadership of 19. So, yeah, I was worried about it, but I wasn't like petrified worried about it. The warriors, Gecko warriors, dropped their token and charged into the air elementals. So, and since they have Pathfinder, they're not hindered. I thought they were going to have a hard time hitting me. Then I forgot that they had Pathfinder. Well, anyway, they're still geckos, and they're not going to do a whole lot of damage on average. So, remarkably, the flank-charged Earth Elementals actually survived the turn. I only took 2 wounds. The hindered was a lot, because when they hit on 4s, they're needing 5s, and then they still need a 5 to wound, because they had no Bane Chant support over there. I think the Lakelodons had shot the Hydra back up to 4 wounds. I'd regenerated all 4 the turn before. So I was at back then. I regenerated, then he came all right back. But the Beast of Nature survived, and now that leaves the Tyrants on the hill open to a flank charge from the Beast of Nature, even though it is on the ground. It doesn't matter. He's still got a decent charge range. You could see the Tyrants did a good job. He did 11 wounds to the Wiltfather. But the Wiltfather is just one of the toughest things in the game. He is the guy that's designed to hold off entire units by himself. That's his job. And then that stupid 1 point of damage every turn is so handy when you're fighting these grinding attrition battles. It just really helps me, because sometimes like a couple of his heroes are down 2 wounds when you get to that point. So that's all a good thing. Even though I took a lot of pictures this turn, I somehow didn't get the picture that I wanted. So I'll just tell you what happened. The Greater Earth Elementals, they went ahead and just countercharged the Salamander Primes. The Hydra, who's sitting there on the little chunk of terrain, he flank charges into the Salamander Primes. The Manticore / Beast of Nature actually had charged into the Tyrants in the flank and killed them. And now he's turned back toward these 2 units as well, so that he can influence the battle some more. Like I said, the whole thing here, these guys are holding out, because what you don't see are the forest shamblers who are hauling ass to the rear with that token. So what you're seeing here is me punch through the middle. Like I said, the Wiltfather and the Beast of Nature went ahead and killed that unit of Tyrants, and looks like the Wiltfather may have got healed a few. He looks like he's down to only 7 or 8 wounds, so he's in pretty good shape. After killing the Tyrants except the turn before, the Earth Elementals had went ahead and charged and killed the Gecko Warrior unit and grabbed the middle token. That's important, because I'm trying to play the scenario. I really don't care about losses. I'm just trying to delay and play the scenario, because he has bigger unit strength and stuff than I do, I'm pretty sure. So anyway, I'm in good shape right there, because now I've got 2 of the tokens, and you can see the 4 Shamblers down here hauling to the rear with that token. So that part of the plan's working just fine, and we'll have to see how it goes. The Greater Earth Elemental, he just keeps chipping away at that unit of Salamander Primes, but he's not going to kill them. But on the other hand, they're having a hell of a time trying to kill him. So as long as he's there to protect that flank and hold that spot, my 2 tokens are fairly safe right now. So the Greater Earth Elemental is up to 9 wounds, and he's starting to feel it now. Even though he's got a leadership of -19, he is still a great tar pit unit just to hold stuff. The air elementals are fighting with the geckos, and it's kind of a slap fight. I mean, I wasn't really doing much to them, but they weren't really doing much to me. So it was just kind of nothing was really happening over there, and he did move his ancients over to take that other token. So now he's got 1 and I've got 2. So over here, the Salamander Primes and the Ancients combined to kill the Earth Elemental unit and the Beast of Nature. I'm not going to do about it, but like I said, now you can see that my Salamander, that my 4 Shamblers are moving back. And the thing is the Ancients are very slow. They only have a charge of 8. So as long as I can back up a little bit more, and it's close to the end of the game, I should be able to get away from them. And on top of the hill, of course, you've got the Tree Man up there. I mean, the Wiltfather up there, and he can do stuff, and I have, obviously enough surge to do whatever I want with him on the next turn. So I did charge one of the Heralds with the one with the loot, because he was causing me the most problems with the Forest Warden, and so that knocks him out of throwing the spell again this game. And then the Earth Elementals on the hill, they were I healed them up. They were only down to 2 wounds, so I was in good shape with them. I mean, I used all the heal I had, just ready to sacrifice the Greater Earth Elemental and just let him go this turn, because all I needed to do was hold that unit and hold that token. So I made a mistake on turn 7 that just about cost me the game. I could have probably surged the Tree Man into that unit of Ancients, and for some reason I just ignored them. I don't know what I was thinking. And on the last turn, they charged the Greater Earth, those Earth Elementals in the rear. Well, the thing is that I had used the Forest Warden to get rid of the Bane Chant guy, so now they still needed 5s to wound, even though they have a lot of attacks. Well, I was fortunate to survive the fight here, and I don't know why I let my concentration slip, because I've been doing pretty well the whole game of my tricks and stuff working. But all I had to do, I could have moved the Pegasus in the way, anything in the way, the Druid, anything, just to slow them down and make them have to make other dice rolls. So anyway, I did hold out right there, and so that kept me with 2 tokens and let the forces of nature win. So I don't really think that I've lost a game with Forces of Nature locally. I've had really good success with them, and in the past, I think I actually didn't have I know I didn't have the Air Elementals. What I did have was a 3rd horde of Earth Elementals, which I know is totally unimaginative, but that's kind of one of the ways I want to play. I don't want to have to think too much, and Elementals by themselves are pretty brainless as far as troops on the battlefield. So really like my army. It's not optimum, is it? No, but it's fun. I have fun. I still think I'm going to have to do something with the Earth Elementals. Sean gave me some Fire Elementals. I think I might want to try them instead, or I could just be boring and go back to the Earth Elementals again, since they're already based up and everything. But I might try the Fire Elementals just to have something that fights a little better, because the last couple of games I've been fighting with the Air Elementals units to the front and not taking advantage of their ability to flank. I think the problem is you almost have to dedicate a caster to make the Air Elementals work, and I really don't want to dedicate one caster to that one unit. And so maybe Fire Elementals might be my next try, just to have something a little hittier out on the flank there. And since Sean has so nicely printed me up a whole horde of Fire Elementals, I'll get those guys out and start to paint on them pretty soon. As far as Craig's army, I really thought he did have some decent idea about how to stop the flyers. But I really didn't try to do the typical flyer jump behind the army thing either. I was just kind of staying, waiting for him to move forward, and just basically just try to ignore his flyer defense, by not really approaching him. And I think maybe what could work better, and it's just me thinking, is maybe some sort of Salamander hero with the wings of Honey Maze, or a Salamander hero on a mount of some sort as flyer protection, and have a double use for him. Have him, give him, if he doesn't have Inspiring, give him the Talisman. Do something so that you have a dual use hero that you can throw out there. And be flyer defense / something else. / Bane Chanter, Fire Defense / Inspire. I don't know what. I'm just throwing some ideas out there, so that you could have a little bit of flyer defense. The Forces of Nature, I've really not had that much problem with flyers, of course, because I can always just turn around and surge stuff into them. So that's an idea. And plus, the stupid unicorn is really a great flyer defender. It's not a horrible fighter. I don't want to use it to fight, but it's not horrible. It could easily cause a wound on somebody. So I like the Forces of Nature army. It's just different, and what I like about it is I get to use some of my old Wood Elf stuff I had from my GW days. And what I probably need to do is roll out Sylvankin one day with all my Elf Archers and try that, just for the hell of it. And I can still use these same other models that I have here. So anyway, well, I hope you enjoyed the battle report. It was a fun game. This is a hard game with the 3 tokens, because there's no room for error. You got to have 2 of the 3, and then spend your whole plan to get them. And that's what I did. I didn't care how much I sacrificed But I wanted those 2 damn tokens, and I got them and got the game win.